Hello and welcome to my video. I will be showing you how to use the class SUBar or SUBar, which stands for Search URL Bar. What this class is going to do is allow your users to pretty much enter anything to the URL bar, and depending on the format of the URL, if it is a valid URL, it will take them to the web address. If not, it will do a Google search for whatever they put in there. So it's kind of like the Google Chrome search/URL bar, if you're familiar with that. So we're going to go ahead and start a new project. We're going to do a single view application. So let's hit next on that. We'll just call this test web view. And I'm going to use automatic reference counting, not storyboards or unit tests. Okay. So let's hit next. All right. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is pretty much just drag the files in here. So let's open up the SUBar folder and drag those in. Okay. Things are flying around. 1 second. There we go. Okay, so now that they're in there, we're going to go ahead and add a web view to our view controller. So let's go ahead and add the web view here. And we're going to shrink it a little bit because, okay, I'm moving the whole thing. We're also going to add a text field. So let's see, text field. Alright, just make the text field whatever size you want. I'm not going to really spend any time with making it look good or adding, like a button that says go or refresh or any of that stuff. That's pretty much your job. I'm just going to show you how to use this class and how it works. So let's put that in there. If we go over to our header file for the view controller, we're going to add a few things. Add property. So if you're going to see, I kind of type all my stuff out. I don't really use the option drag or whatever it is. And the reason I don't do that is because I'm on a laptop and my screen is tiny. So, alright, so UI web view, which is one thing that we have, and we're just going to call this web view. And then we're going to make another thing called, first we got to kind of let this thing know that about the class SUBar, so we can use it. There we go, SUBar. So we still have to import it in the implementation file, but in here we're going to do an at class. So weak. This is going to be an ID outlet. And we're going to call this, well, it's SUBar, first of all, for the class. And then we're going to call it, I don't know, URL bar. Okay. So we have those in there. And if we go back to our nib file, I'm just going to command and drag over to the file's owner. Oh, other way around. Always mix those up. Okay, that's our web view. And we need to change the class on this text field. So we're going to change this to the SUBar class. There we go. And then we drag over from our file's owner to the bar and URL bar. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to go to the implementation file, and in the view.load, well, it's pretty easy. You just essentially do self dot, what do we call it? I always forget. URL bar. And we're just going to say setup. Nope. What is it called? Let's see. Oh yeah, setup. That's right, I forgot to import it. So this is the part that you shouldn't forget, is to import it. SUBar.h. Alright, and then we're going to say self.URL bar setup SUBar with web view, and we're going to pass it our web view, which is self.webview, and that's it. We're going to run this project and see what happens. That's really, for the simplest implementation to this, that's all you have to do. Alright, so here's our URL bar up here, and we can put in Apple. And as you see, it'll search Apple in Google because Apple's not a valid URL. But if we put in apple.com, it actually goes to apple.com. And yeah, you can put in multiple words. Pretty much works for a lot of cases. There might be a few edge cases that I still haven't coded for. And as I do that, I will be updating the library that I'm putting on GitHub. But, I mean, I just wrote this like an hour ago, and I'm making the video now, and I just want to get it out there to start with. So I'll be making updates to the library. It'll be on GitHub. The link to the GitHub will be below in the description. And then as I make updates, there should probably be a README file or something that'll add to it with the updates. So we'll add that. But, to spiffy this up real quick, we'll just go back to this view controller. Over here, we'll say, let's see, here's the placeholder text. We'll say search, capital S, or enter URL. And I think that's what the Chrome one says. It might not, but it's something like that. And it'll just look a little cooler, There we go. So it lets your user know, hey, you can put anything in here to search or enter a URL, So, hey. And it'll do a Google search for hey. Oh, hey.com. Alright, thanks for watching my video. If you have any suggestions or if you'd like to make contributions to this project, just let me know. Yep, thanks.